A high-voltage power line to Ukraine's Chernobyl nuclear power plant was damaged by Russian forces earlier today, according to grid operator Ukrenergo. A loss of power at the plant has raised fears that radioactive material may begin to leak, as the cooling system which regulates nuclear waste is forced to run on a backup diesel generator. The Russian attack on the power line comes just one day after electricity was restored to the nuclear plant following a previous bout of fighting which cut off the power supply. Ukraine's energy minister German Kulashchenko said yesterday, Ukrainian energy engineers, by risking their own health and lives, were able to avert the risk of a possible nuclear catastrophe that threatened the whole of Europe. But the plant has been plunged into jeopardy yet again, especially as exhausted staff at the power plant have reportedly stopped carrying out safety-related repairs. Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24 and seized the defunct Chernobyl plant hours after crossing the border, but have refused to allow staff to leave and have forced them to work around the clock to maintain the site. Ukrainian authorities told the UN's nuclear watchdog yesterday that Chernobyl's staff are utterly exhausted and are no longer able to make repairs. The Ukrainian regulator informed the IAEA that staff at Chernobyl were no longer carrying out repair and maintenance of safety-related equipment, in part due to their physical and psychological fatigue after working non-stop for nearly 3 weeks, the International Atomic Energy Agency said in a statement. Russian forces cut the power to the plant for the first time last week amid fighting, and the site was forced to run on emergency backup generators that are powered by diesel, though the UN's atomic watchdog said there was no critical impact to safety at the time. The defunct Chernobyl nuclear power plant sits inside an exclusion zone that houses decommissioned reactors as well as radioactive waste facilities. In 2016, the Chernobyl new safe confinement was put in place to cover the reactor. It was designed to prevent further release of radioactive contaminants for 100 years. More than 2,000 staff still work at the plant as it requires constant management to prevent another nuclear disaster. The IAEA has repeatedly urged Russian authorities to allow the 210 staff members who are being held captive at Chernobyl to leave, arguing that although radiation levels in the area are relatively low, it is necessary to ensure a safe rotation of staff. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi last week called on the forces in effective control of the site to urgently facilitate the safe rotation of personnel there. He also repeated his offer to travel to Chernobyl or elsewhere to secure the commitment to the safety and security of Ukraine's power plants from all parties, after the IAEA reported it was no longer receiving signals from safeguarding systems monitoring radiation levels at the plant. The Director General indicated that remote data transmission from safeguards monitoring systems installed at the Chernobyl MPP had been lost, the IAEA said in a statement. Russia took control of the defunct atomic plant on the first day of the invasion and later captured a second nuclear site, Zaporizhzhia, the biggest in Europe, on March 4, causing a fire that raised alarm in Europe over a possible nuclear catastrophe. Staff at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant were captured on video pleading with Russian soldiers directing fire on the building before they overtook it. The nuclear power plant, which creates around 20% of Ukraine's electricity, was captured after a fierce gun battle between Russian President Vladimir Putin's men and Ukrainian defenders that sparked a fire in a 6-story training building. Eventually, emergency crews were allowed to go in and douse the flames at the Zaporizhzhia plant before Russian troops moved in and occupied the site. The United Nations Nuclear Monitoring Agency said that, fortunately, none of the site's 6 reactors had been directly damaged and radiation levels remain normal. Russian engineers arrived at Zaporizhzhia last week to check radiation levels, which were reported as being stable. Advertisement.